What's going on, everybody? Hello. How are you? How's everybody doing today? Nice to see you all. Hello, Akil. My video got blocked in some countries for copyrighted material. Yep, that's how that goes. What's up, Ray? Funny Figs is here. I think, yep, Boba Laveau is here. Hello. I feel like we are about to get a special section on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And now, Studio Hours with Kevin Hinkle. No, I think the closest you're going to get is the Mr. Rogers Redeem. I forgot what it was called for a second.
No matter how anybody says it is. Feels good to have made something.
It does. Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Tuesday. The Tuesday stream is Studio Hours with me. It's a lot more chill than the Friday stream. Because we just chat, we just talk. I'm going a little early today, if you didn't notice. My goal is to go live at 12:30. That is what it's on the schedule, the Twitch schedule. And I've been late like the last few weeks, and I'm like, I hate being late. I'm a very punctual person. I don't like being late.
Well, art is not all fun and games. It's a lot of hard work.
It's right. Art is a lot of hard work. And yes, Ray, it does feel good to have made something. So I wanted to go a little bit early today to kind of make up for that, I guess, a little bit. But welcome in. I just kind of do whatever on this stream. I try to have at least a little bit of a plan of what we're going to talk about. So today, first and foremost, I just got back from another show because that's all I do is shows. Travel. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about my experience at Retro World Expo, which was in Hartford, Connecticut this last weekend, the Connecticut Convention Center. I'll share a little bit about the data. I don't mind doing that, especially if it can help other artists in any way, shape, or form. So I'll share with you guys a little bit about that. After that, we'll look at Halloween stuff. I've done a few more since the last time I showed off. And then we'll get into Earthbound stuff. How about that? Keel says, I wouldn't know. I haven't been here in a while. So, Retro World Expo. This is a photo taken from the show by myself, by my own hand, to show you the booth. Now, the Connecticut Convention Center is very generous with their spacing. I will tell you this. The shows that I go there, which currently is just Kineticon and Retro World, they give you these very spacious like little sections, which is really nice. And I usually find myself struggling to fill the space because I am so used to these standard cramped little 6-foot tables, and I gotta get it all there, and that's just kind of the end of it. Akil says he's going to tell us stories. Yay! Yep, that's right. And of course, feel free to ask any questions about anything. So, this is a exceptionally long table. Let me show you a photo of the event I did right before this, which was Fan Expo Boston. Okay? This is Fan Expo Boston. This is a normal, quote-unquote, standard table. Bubble Vo says, don't you have that extra cardboard Hinkle cutout to put up to... I wish I had a giant cardboard cutout on my base. Be kind of neat. I do not have that. So, one of the big things you can see right here is, from the edge of the table, right, these grid panels. They're called grid wall. Let me use my tools and draw like a teacher. So where these little connectors are right here, that's one panel. Okay? So you can see on a normal setup, they go, for my setup, they go 5 tall. Whoa, what did I do? I moved this line. Don't move that. I don't need that moved. I don't even know if you guys can see that line. Oh yeah, you can. Don't do that. I don't. Leave that alone. I don't know what that is. All right. So you'll see on a standard table. Funny fixes. Did I ever tell you I made big foam core versions of my characters? That's amazing, Ray. You did not tell me this. Never actually got to use it, but it was. Well, I'm happy for you, Ray. That does sound really cool, though. So I've got this kind of planned out to a science, right? So we go 5 tall, we go 2 across. I replicate that over here, and then this actually. The point is, it can be. Yeah, it can be done. This doesn't line up almost ever because of the table length. So you can see there's like a little bit of an overlap, like this much overlap, and I use binder clips, which is fine. It works perfectly fine. And then especially when I put the commission sign over, you can't even tell that it's not connected. So that's a normal table setup, and I've got it kind of almost perfect where I'm filling the space, where I'm starting to having to make some tough choices on rearranging things because I'm finally using every inch of real estate. Now, Retro World, well, that looks different. So you'll see, here's the 5, right? Except we've got 3. We've got 3 columns. And then like all the way over here, we've got the normal 2 right here. This is the normal setup. And if I were to connect these in the arch, it most likely would be 3. It would be 3 panels, and I'm not as comfortable having, especially this middle panel, just free floating. I was like, nah, that's not gonna work. So you can see, very generous, and this table is gigantic. So Akil says, funny figs, I'm gonna eventually get cardboard cutouts of the whole mystery crew and the mystery machine, and they will stay in a small corner of my room. It's pretty cool. It's pretty neat. So very generous. This little like standee with the drape, right? This whole section, this is all me. It's a big space, and this is normal for the Connecticut Convention Center. It's a lot of space. What are those little wire walls, man? It's just metal. It's just cheap metal. They're not plastic, though. It's definitely metal. This is my table back here. That you might be able to see. That's the table I brought to have a little station to eat and to draw on and stuff like that. So a massive amount of space, which is great. But I don't normally have that. Like, a vast majority of the time, I don't have that. So it's like, I don't plan for that. But at this point, I should have remembered, because it really is every time I'm at the Connecticut Convention Center, no matter what show it is, that they're very generous with the space. Yeah, that would hurt. I just don't trust it. So it's whatever. But so yeah, I added another row for the stickers. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. Stand by. I'm getting a phone call, and I want to, in case this is like an emergency from my son's school or something, I need to take that. Hang on 1 second. Sorry.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh, Mary, Mother of Jesus! Jesus of Nazareth!
Okay, sorry. Sometimes when, you know, most of the time it's spam calls, right? But when it's like an actual Connecticut phone number, I'm like, maybe this is my son's school. Maybe there's an emergency. So it wasn't anything dire. It was the dentist calling. But let's see. Ray says, I had those. No, wait. Let me go back. Akil says, no, they will have like a red light that shines on them and they will stare at me as I sleep. Oh. All right. Ray says, I had those massive 2x4 walls lineups. Yeah, I have some of those, Ray. Because when I first did my first show in 2019, I looked up and down, left and right, all over the internet, anywhere and everywhere, Google searched, and I could not, for the life of me, figure out what in the world these things were called. I could not do it. Grid walls, they're called grid wall. I could not, for the life of me, figure out what those were called. And I was like, metal retail shelving, metal shelving units, modular grid, or I didn't use grid. That was a phrase I didn't use. Modular metal mesh, retail mesh shelving. Like, I searched every term imaginable and I couldn't find it. And so I got, one of the big, those giant honkers, right? The big metal ones that are super heavy. They got the feet. I got 2 cases of those because it's like 3 per case. And that was a lot of money. It was like $100, $150 or something. Very heavy, very expensive. And I did 1 show with them and I was miserable. I was like, these things, for my purpose and what I do, are such a pain in the butt. Like, I had to use the cart just to move. Like, 1 trip from the car to the convention center was just the giant metal things. But my first neighbor at that show, I was like, can you please tell me what these things are called? I have searched every term under the sun and I can't find them because it kept showing me like the traditional retail shelving. It never showed me these little modular grid systems, never. And he's like, oh, they're called grid walls. Then I typed grid wall and in half a second, I got everything I needed. So I used them once. They are now set up here in my basement behind me, and that is where I display all the current assortment of stuff, so I know what I have currently available in the shop. But they are no longer traveling with me. It was very loud and probably would have killed someone. Yeah, so that was a lesson. Akil says, it's my best friend's spam risk. He calls me. Oh, does he? Nice. My best friend's spam risk. So, yeah, they're very generous with the space here. Another thing. I was in a pretty good spot, actually. Can I show you guys a map? Can I show you guys a map? Let's see if I have a map. Map. It's the map. I'm gonna sing the map song. Here we go. Is this? Da 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 da. Pokemon. Dun dun. Dun 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 dun. This is not a map. This is load-in instructions. I'm going through my email right now from the event, trying to find the map. I wanted to show you guys the map. Dun 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 dun. Here we go. Here's a map. Dun 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 dun. So I'll open this up. Why is it doing that? Why are you doing that? That's annoying. It like saved it as like a, you know, HTML page. Like, oh, goodness gracious. Alright, we're gonna change that into a PDF. Oh, it's still saving it as this weird website, and I can't copy. Oh, goodness gracious. Why does everything gotta be so difficult? Alright. When all else fails, we print screen this bad boy.
You're making us a little bit uncomfortable.
I know.
Relax, big guy. He's just doing this for his art.
Relax.
Right,
I'm just doing this for my art. Alright? I hate, that's such a pet peeve of mine when you try to save a thing and it saves it as like the you know, web page HTML thing that nobody uses. I'm like, no, I want this as like a JPEG or a PDF or like literally anything. All right, so here is a map of Retro World Expo. Now, last year, okay, so for the record, last year this was my worst performing show for the year. Okay, this was my worst performing show for the entire year. I think I landed last year. I think I landed.
Hey, listen.
Oh, I'm listening. I'm always listening. Let me check my notes. Let me lower my glasses to the very tip of my nose, old man style. Last year, Retro World Expo, I made a grand total of $400. That's not great. $400 is not great for a weekend of my time. And the table cost was $200. That means Kevin brought home $200, right? That's what that means. That means I spent 48 hours of my life, gas, go down to downtown park, pay for parking, and I brought home $200. Not great. But it's super close. That's the thing. It's super close. I live 15 minutes away from downtown Hartford. And so last year, this section right here, right? Oh, actually, that's a little too generous. It was like this section. This was the artist. Okay, so us artists were here. Oh yeah, old man style. Bro, that's allowance money. It's supposed to be feed my children money is what it's supposed to be. So, this is last year, 2021. This is where the artists were. These are the guests. This is where like the YouTube guests were. They were mostly YouTubers. I don't think there was any voice actors or any like traditional celebs because this is a video game show. So this show is all about video games, especially retro video games. Your Nintendo, all the Nintendo systems, and Sega and Sony and all that kind of stuff. Very, very focused on video games. And then this section, this whole section here on the left is all vendors, right? This is your video game vendors, your Funko Pop people, because there's always Funko Pop people. Your action figures, your whatever, the foam sword guy, right? Because there's always the foam sword guy that has all the different swords from every property. So this whole entire zone was the vendors, and I can't remember who was on the perimeter wall. It wasn't artist. I don't remember who it was. Maybe it was more vendors. So I was like right here last year. Like that's where I was. And the foot traffic was abysmal. Abysmal. It was a ghost town. If there was an actual tumbleweed, I would have watched it blow across the floor. But the show was like packed with people, right? And they were all over here. All the people were over there. At one point, I went out into the little walkway here, and I stood right here. And I looked right this way, and it was like there was an invisible wall because there were so many people on the other section. I was like, why are none of these people crossing this line? Is there an invisible wall here? Ray is amused. An actual tumbleweed, a real tumbleweed. Bo Laveau says, I like the idea that the con recap sounds like the planning section of Mission Impossible. How can you not know who's on the perimeter? That is your last observation. It's true. I don't know. It was a year ago. I'm a busy guy. Okay, so let me get rid of... Oh, I guess I can't get rid of... Never mind. I can't get rid of anything. So, layer check. Can I get a layer check? I didn't plan this properly at all. I'll just do another color. I did not plan this. I did not plan this recap very well. Black. We'll just do black. All right. So yeah, last year, not so good. Thank you, Bo Laveau. Look at that. Look at it. Look at it. It's like the DVD menu thing that bumps around. hit the corner. Oh, almost. So this year, I was right here. I was on the perimeter. Right next to this column, because this, you guys could see in the photo. Well, you couldn't see in the photo, actually. I had a big column to the left of me. And so I was right there. I was that spot, 132, right here. And so I was actually really excited because I'm like, all right, the perimeter seems like it had better traffic than the inside aisles. Seem like. But that's... What's up, B-Habs? Hello. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. 3 whole months. You're awesome. Also, didn't you just... Also, didn't you just join my Patreon? Didn't that occur? I'm very, very appreciative. Thank you very much for that. I sent you a message within Patreon. Sometimes people don't see those because it's like a messaging app within Patreon. I think you get an email alert. You're supposed to get an email alert, but just so you know. But hello, hi, welcome. I'm talking about Retro World Expo, which was my show I did last weekend. So, there definitely was still artists here, right? This year there was still artists here. I don't know what I did to get moved from there to there. I don't know. I signed up late. I mean, not late, but like, perhaps. I don't look there often, but I'll look. Very good, very good. I wasn't going to go back to this show. I kind of wrote it off as like, well, that was bad. But it's just, it's so close in the proximity. You know, 15 minutes, right? 15 minutes to get there. Bubble of O says, the perimeter seemed like it was better in the sort of talk you get when you don't do proper recon on the perimeter. Yeah, exactly. Maybe this is all me. I'm at fault. Also, what's really funny, just a side tangent. Here's a side tangent. What's really funny, this is a full-blown wrestling ring, like straight up, where they did, like, they had wrestlers come in. They're not A-list wrestlers. These are like, you know, but they're pretty, you know, bulky guys. They are definitely wrestlers. BF says, wait, which one are you at this year? Yeah, the black dot is me. The red dot was last year. That was last year I was the red dot. This year I'm the black dot. It's like I'm playing Connect 4. So that's a wrestling ring. And then this is a stage. Where they had like bands, metal bands. They also had, what was super funny, this is my side tangent. What was super funny, at one point during Saturday, there was a wrestling match happening. And I mean like what you imagine for a wrestling match, right? Everyone's hollering in the crowd, amping people up. People are slamming people down, and there's that extra echoey like slap when they hit the thing. And then at the same time, over here on the stage was a performative dance piece. Like practically ballet. I don't know what it was. I didn't even know that was happening until I saw someone's video on social that they had tagged Retro World, and somebody was standing right here, and they had their phone out, and they were recording this, and then they turned around and recorded this, and then kept going by saying, only at Retro World Expo can I see interpretive ballet dancing and wrestling at the same time from my one vantage point. BF says, is it good or bad? I caught the tail end. So, it's a great question. It wasn't worse. I didn't do worse this year. Okay? Alright? So this year at Retro World Expo. So last year I made $400. Okay? Last year, $400. It cost me $200 to be there, right? So I brought home $200. Not the best. Not stellar. This year, I made $680. So, get out the fine china, all right? We made $680. The price of the table did jump a little bit because everything has gone up this year. So the table went up to $225 instead of $200. So, still not great. Still not great. Idea for BobCon. Yes. Bolo says, tune in next week. Same Hinkle time, same Hinkle channel, to see if he made enough to eat. Exactly. Funny Fix says, not horrible, but only because it's so close. Exactly. Exactly. If this was a show that required long travel, like long meaning more than an hour, I guess, and like potentially a hotel, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And it hurts my soul, okay? It hurts my soul because I love retro video gaming. I'm all about Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Nintendo 64, like I'm all about it. And I was sitting there, no problem, Akil, see you later. I was sitting there listening to the metal band cover Donkey Kong Country music while I'm looking at like pretty bare bones foot traffic on the perimeter. Bare bones foot traffic. And I'm just like, oh, I'm so sad. Behab says, but your profits exceeded the cost even with the rate. It's true. It's true. So I didn't lose money. I made more money than I made last year. But seeing on how, again, this is what I do. This is my full-time job. This is literally how I afford electricity and groceries and car insurance. Like this is my job. And so I need a strong word. I need shows to be over 1,000 every time. I have to. They have to be over 1,000. Thanks for the bit, Bobo. But to be sustainable, it really needs to be more in like the $2,000 range. So we're getting there. Again, not terrible, not the best, not my best show. Funny Figs, what is selling there? So obviously there's a bunch of artists. Everybody brings video game stuff because why wouldn't they, right? It's a video game show, so they're gonna bring video game things. And so lots of, paintings and enamel pins and patches and clothing, like the normal Comic-Con stuff you see, but very video game centric. And then a million people selling retro games. And that's the thing, is that there are lots of people there. There's a lot of human bodies in that room, but they're not going to the creative stuff. They're going to the games, right? It's a retro gaming show, and people want to buy retro games. So all the vendors that have their tables full of Super Nintendo cartridges and Sony PlayStation discs and old systems, like they are flooded with people the whole time, the whole show. But a lot of us other artists, we really do not do well. We haven't done well last year, and the year before that, which I didn't do, but some of the artists had, and they're like, yeah, this show, like people just are not interested in buying non-video game stuff. Funny Fix says there's also opportunity costs. Could have made more if you worked on knee merch. Is that supposed to be niche or new merch, or did another show? Yeah, it's not awful, and because it's so close to me, and because I love gaming, I'll probably do it again. It's like I didn't lose money, but it's just like, blah. I wish I did better. That's the thing. I wish I did better at this show. This is a struggling show for me. I don't know. So did I draw anything at this show? I had exactly one commission. I will show you this commission. It was a pencil sketch. So it was a bust pencil sketch of a custom Mandalorian armor. And the person actually had like a custom painted action figure of this armor. And so he let me kind of hang on to it for a minute while I was I mean, this was very quick. This is like a 15-minute drawing. He also recorded it because he asked if he could. He's like, can I record you doing it? So he pulled out his phone, recorded me drawing the whole thing, and he did post it to Instagram. He tagged me on it, and I did share it in my story. So if you want to see it, you can. You can also see my lovely bald spot that continues to get bigger and makes me sadder with every year. Bobo Lavo says, like the comics with the blank covers, are there game boxes with blank fronts?
Jesus! Oh, God! Oh, Jesus! God! Oh, Mary, Mother of Jesus of Nazareth!
I know, Ray. I say the same thing every time I see the top of my head. I'm gonna have to update my icon. I don't want to get rid of my... I have to, you know, whatever. My barber says I have 5 more years. I'm gonna have to shave my head. I'm not even kidding. That's what he told me. So this guy brought the custom action figure. It was like dark, like a warm dark metal, kind of like that, you know, deep oranges and stuff for like the gunmetal kind of color, and then it had bright pink, like neon pink trim. So like this was trimmed like that, and this, and then this, and this, and this, this, and this. But then the rest was like, you know, just wear a hat. I know. Sigh. That's a nice drawing. Thank you. Thank you very much. So yeah, this was a $20 commission. So this is the cheapest commission I offer. It's just a pencil sketch, and it's just like a bust. So like the shoulders up. He is also an aspiring artist. So he said he is going to take this and he was going to continue to polish it up on his own and color it and ink it and all that. And I'm like, hey man, it's your property after you buy it. You can do whatever you want. So this was my one commission. There was no other commissions from the show. I didn't draw anything else. And I didn't work on anything else either. So I didn't work on anything for fun. Which sometimes I do. I was prepared to. I just didn't. I don't know. I was kind of in a weird funk with like the light foot traffic, and sales were kind of lukewarm, and I was like, meh. So I didn't work on anything outside of that. So that's all I got to share from Retro World Expo. Oh, that's not all I have to share. Let me tell you what did perform well, because that is something I like to do. So, what was the sellers at Retro World? In a surprise to nobody, the doodle stickers continue to be an absolute smash hit. No matter where I am, I sold 82 of them. So these are the little guys, the little stickers here. They always do well. I mean, it's an exceptionally low price point, so it is what it is. But, you'll notice if you're super eagle-eyed, the signage is new, so I updated the signage to just make it even more clear and just get right to the point of what it is, and to help the naming doodle sticker, help that like stick out a little bit better. So that's a new sign. And then also I got this book. So this is a binder with Pog sleeves. You guys remember Pogs? I remember Pogs. I had Pogs. So apparently Pogs are still a thing, even if only 5 people in the world are doing it. Pogs are still a thing, and they sell sleeve protectors for your Pogs. So these are little 2-inch by 2-inch pockets, like you'd have for trading cards, which is amazing. And yeah, this is a current product, currently available. Yeah, exactly, Pogs. Yeah, currently available. So I bought this, and I bought a binder, and so this is kind of like the master set. So if you want to see what's in the tray without having to dig for it, you can flip through, and people do like flipping through things. They like the action of flipping through a book. So, but there are also, I put 5 of each, because sometimes people get a little frustrated if they're digging for too long and they want to find one. So it's like also an emergency backup if I need to like quickly pull one out. And also it helps me see all the total designs, because there's like 73 something designs in there. So that was new. I do have to keep a close eye on it, because some people were just snagging them out of there as opposed to taking them out of the tray, which is fine. But I really wanted to keep that as like the master set, so I had to keep like very quickly restocking that from the tray. Yeah, how are Pogs still a thing? I don't know. Speaking of books, this is another new book. So that's one of those big portfolio books, where I took one of each of the posters and I put them in there. So there was nothing in this book that was not right here. But again, the action of flipping through a book was very appealing. And so the people that came over flipped the book, even though they weren't seeing anything different. And I told them, I was like, oh, nothing's in there that's not already on display. And like, okay. And then they keep flipping, right? Because it's just the action of flipping. So that was there. Let's see. In exciting news, The old Sailor Moon is done. Done. So this Sailor Moon print is completely sold out. It is retired. I have no more. It is gone. It's not on the website. It's not going to be at the events. Gone. That Sailor Moon is gone. But I think I showed you guys last week, but in case you weren't here and you missed it, there is a new Sailor Moon print. Oh, I need to go into the shop folder. So the new Sailor Moon print, which I have in hand, it was delivered over the weekend. And it was also, if you were here at the beginning, it was in the coming or starting soon screen. This is the new Sailor Moon print, small. So it's the half sheet paper. So this is the new one that takes over for the old one. We don't need this photo anymore. So that one is done. Out. I am also incredibly excited to report that this guy right here, it's hard to see at that angle, but this was my last piece of Lego artwork that I had. I have been traveling with this for years. For years. This is a little Galaxy Squad green space bug with a blaster. I have desperately tried. I lowered the price on it again. I lowered the price on it on that. I lowered the price on that. I lowered the, not Courage. Courage did not get lowered. I lowered the price on Dread, and I lowered the price on Obi-Wan because I'm like, we are on the heels of October, and you guys know I do Inktober/Hinktober every year, so I have a ton of original artwork that's coming very, very soon. I need to get these things out of here and off the table. So I did. I sold the bug, Ray. I sold the bug. The bug is gone. I have no Lego artwork in my possession. It's gone. I still have, this is my last Inktober 2021 piece. It's Kevin the dog from the game Overcooked. I think it's a mobile game. I lowered the price again. He is now $10. $10. They went from 30 to 10. So if anybody wants it, remember, if you're a patron, you get a discount on my shop. You have a discount code. You can use it anytime you want. So that's $10. Still need to get rid of it. I got rid of the witch in Boston, Ray. So it's amazing. Finally. And also, this Judge Dredd over here. I sold the Judge Dredd. It's gone. That is another long term. I have been traveling from show to show to show to show to show, and it just doesn't move. And I've lowered the price. It started at 30, then it went to 25, then it went to 20, and I now marked it down to 10. And it finally sold at this show. Someone bought the Dread. Dread is gone. The bug is gone. I still have Courage, and that's still the full price at 40 because that's brand new. I just did that a couple shows ago. I'm pretty proud of it. So I'm not quite ready yet to drop the price on Courage. Obi-Wan is still not sold, and I'm really disappointed because Obi-Wan I thought was going to sell at Fan Expo Boston because Ewan McGregor was there. And there was a lot of Star Wars fans. It was in the air, it was in the vibe, and it just didn't move. And so I feel like if I wasn't able to sell Obi-Wan with Ewan McGregor present, I think the likelihood it's going to sell dropped a lot. So I did drop the price. It is now $50 on my website. !shop if anybody needs or wants the list or the website link. This is the full comic. This is an issue 1 from 2014, I think, of the Marvel Star Wars run. So it's got like a $10 to $15 value on the comic alone, not including my artwork on it. So yeah. Let's see other things that happened. I've got one more Aztec Medusa left, and then that's done. That's retired. So I've decided to retire a bunch of these things. So for those of you guys that are listening either here or later during the replay, some of these prints are done. And so if you have any interest in getting them, you need to get them. Link up here is done. He is retired. I have One. I have one left. So if you want Link, if you have any interest in getting Link, get him because this is it. Korra is done. She's retired. What I have left is what I have left, and when it's gone, it's gone. Not coming back. So if you have any interest in grabbing the Korra print, you should do that. Loki's retired. We're done with Loki. Loki has been an absolute total dud. The moment I made it, I have sold, I think, maybe 2 in the almost 2 years that I've been traveling with this print. So it's done. I'm not going to order any more. To be fair, I haven't even sold through the initial batch, but when they're done, they're done. No reorders of Loki. He is retired. I don't think I'm going to reorder Beavis and Butthead. So the little Beavis and Butthead, I do have like 2 left. I don't think I'm going to reorder them. I think they did their job and they're done. So, yeah, I think that's all. Okay, so what sold? The Doodle stickers. Doodle stickers sold the best. The best-selling stickers, like the big portrait stickers, again, in a surprise to absolutely nobody, Ghostface. Ghostface continues to sell exceptionally well no matter where I go, and when I go, it was the #1 seller all of last year. Continues to be a hot seller. So Ghostface did really well. Jason was tied with Ghostface for the best performing stickers, and Louise Belcher from Bob's Burgers. Those were the big sellers. I had somebody shocked me because they wanted, you'll see I put the new Link, so the new Link sticker is now up. I don't think, or I sold 1, but also the new Thrawn sticker. I brought the new Thrawn sticker. Where did I put it? It's somewhere. Where did Thrawn go? Thrawn might be on the other side. He's got to be. So Thrawn would be on one of these panels that's here facing in. But Thrawn did pretty good too. But I was really surprised because I had some people that came up to my table and they had seen me at Kineticon, so at the same venue, a couple months or a month prior. And they were sad because I didn't have any more Thrawn. I was sold out of Thrawn. I said, oh, well, I'm redoing it. And again, you have these conversations with people at the shows, and they're, oh, I'll buy it online, or oh, I'll hit you up next time. The likelihood that they're gonna do that is very low. You're like, I'm never gonna see you again, and it's fine. You do the thing, you do the motions, you have a pleasant conversation. But you're like, no, I'm never gonna see you again. But that's okay. But this couple came up and they're like, oh, we saw you at Kineticon and we were bummed you didn't have Thrawn, but look, you have a new Thrawn. And I was like, I do. And we remember you told us that you were redoing it, and we were hoping you were going to have it at this show, and I did, and they bought 2 of them. So I was like, oh, that doesn't happen. You're not supposed to show back up. You're supposed to vanish into the mist, and I'm supposed to never see you again. Snooze, you lose indeed, right? So unless anybody has any more questions about Retro World Expo, I'm going to stop talking about Retro World Expo. My next show, the next event that Kevin will be at, will be Granite State Comic-Con. That is in Manchester, New Hampshire. That is a 3-day show, so this is a big one. It's a big one for at least New England, for the New England region. That is going to be September 16, 17, and 18. So that means that you guys will have the regularly scheduled Doodle Stream Fridays this Friday and next Friday. You get 2 weeks. You're going to get spoiled. You get 2 weeks of our regularly scheduled program. And then I miss that following week, the 16th, because the show will be happening on that Friday. So that's the next show that's on the list. I still have plenty of shows this year, I promise you. There are still lots more shows to be had. I don't need this anymore. And I don't need this anymore. So the next thing we're going to talk about is Halloween. So, I don't know if I showed you guys this already or not, but I finished my icon. Look at me! Look at me! So each Halloween, I change into something more spooky. So last year, I was Zombie Hink. Do you guys remember Zombie Hink? I think I removed the emote finally. No, I still have it in some way. I've got this one. So Zombie Hink. That was my Halloween icon last year. So I'll switch all the social platforms on October 1st to Skelly Hink. So this year is Skelly Hink, and I wanted to do Skelly Hink last year, but I was like, that's a little complicated. I'm gonna do the zombie. Zombie was easier. Behab says, ooh. Bobo says, good rendition of the bald spot. Thank you. This is actually just, it's not even really a skeleton. It's just a photo of me currently. I just took a photo in the mirror. So this, I'm gonna be dead. October 1st, I'm gonna be dead again. Another year. So October 1st, all the stuff's gonna flip over, all the social icons. So on social media, you'll see this. You'll see that. That's the new icon, and it will last through the month of October. And anywhere that I need to use the full figure.
Oh no!
Yep, I know. Would be like here, right, for the streams. I'll use the full one. And what's extra special about this, if you guys remember from last year, my folks that were here for the Hinkle experience last year, there will be an exclusive sticker with Skelly Hink. So you'll have your little classic promo sticker, round with the skull, red background, and there will be a numbered, hand-numbered 25. That is it. Last year, with the Zombie Hinks, I did 50. So if you placed an order on my website, any dollar amount, any item, but it had to be between October 1st and October 31st, while supplies last, of course, you got a Zombie Hink sticker that was hand-numbered. So it was 1 out of 50. And I did have a lot of extras. I had a lot of extras. So I said, you know what? We're going to half it. So only 25. There will be 25 Skelly Hinks available. If you are a platinum tier patron, one of the most generous, the folks that give me $50 a month, which is a lot of money, I'm very appreciative. They will get one no matter what, because they get everything. They get literally everything. If I make it, they get it. That includes books, that includes stickers, that includes posters, that includes prints. Doesn't matter. If I make it, they get it. So that's part of that generous tier. Both of us says, great. Now I need a new order for skeleton. Well, good. Mission accomplished. Stop your marketing success. You stop being a good marketer. So that is the new social icon. But every Halloween I make new products, because I'm not going to just give you guys a version of me. You need new products to shop also. So Halloween. I am pretty confident I showed you guys this. This is my concept sketch for the Halloween stickers this year. So we've got a classic jack-o'-lantern on some fall foliage. We've got Sam from the movie Trick or Treat. He's the bottom left. We've got Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas. We've got Jaws, and then a Morticia and Gomez Adams. That is the plan, is just those 6. I know that is lighter than past years. I actually went very heavy last year. I did 12. There was 12 Halloween stickers last year, which was a lot, but I didn't have as much stuff going on last year. And the year before that, it was 10. This year, it's only going to be these 6. But Gomez and Morticia are like my first dual portrait sticker. So both of them will be on the one sticker because I can't separate them. That's part of the gimmick, right? They are so infatuated with each other, you just can't separate them. So I have finished most of these now. So I will show you the finished final artwork for the ones that are done. So first off, we have our pumpkin. So here is the jack-o'-lantern final artwork. That will be a sticker. That will be probably like 3 1/4 inches tall by maybe 3 1/2 or 3 3/4 wide. I'm pretty happy with this. I like the texture on the pumpkin, the skin of the pumpkin. The leaves are okay. I'm not like super happy with the leaves, but they're alright. I like the pumpkin. So jack-o'-lantern is complete. That is ready for printing. You need the Hocus Pocus sticker to go with the release of Hocus Pocus 2. Do I? I mean, I need to have everything, to be honest. I just need to have everything. Every fandom, every IP. The next sticker is Sam. We have Sam from Trick or Treat. So here is Sam. I'm very happy with this. I'm very happy with this. I think this came out really nice. Ray says that's a good idea. I'm just gonna sigh. His background is the lollipop that he has in the film, and he like takes a bite out of it, so it kind of looks, you know, in this angle it's like a crescent moon, but I'm pretty happy with it. I like this one. I like this one a lot. Yes, you do. Yeah, exactly. Just make everything. Can we just make everything? Just make everything all the time. And of course, this is different than the Sam print that I have in a bunch of different ways. I mean, obviously the print is a much higher price point, and I'll show you the print. The print doesn't have as vibrant colors as the sticker does, and you can see that I ripped part of his mask to show you his real face. So it is a little bit different. And Ray and I were talking about this either last stream or whatever. I have noticed that typically the people that buy stuff from my table will either buy prints or they'll buy stickers. They very rarely cross over and buy each or one of each or from both. So it's like they come over and they want prints, or they come over and they want stickers, and they don't typically they don't pull from the other side. So I don't think there will be some cannibalization. Maybe there will. I don't know. But I really wanted to have Sam in the Halloween sticker assortment because he is an absolute star of the horror crowd. People love Sam. I just did this print a couple months ago, and it's already one of my best-selling prints that I have, next to Five Nights at Freddy's and Elvira. Those are like the 3 top-selling prints for me. So of course more spooky horror stuff. So it's different, and obviously the prints are $15, whereas the stickers are $5. But there he is. There's Sam. He is not yet battle damaged. This is run-of-the-mill regular Sam, and that is finished, ready for printing. And then the next one I've got done is Jaws. Alright, so here is our Jaws sticker. I had Jaws on my list to draw for Halloween stickers. There we go. Don't get too sad with this Avatar music. try to hold your tears. So I wanted to draw Jaws on the first round of yeah, oh no. I heard like the first couple strums of and I was like, oh no. Oh, not this song. Leaves on the Vine. Let us not be sad. So in my old style, right, I was like, I wanted to do Jaws, but I couldn't figure out a good way to do it in the old style and like the old like cropping of it. So I just kind of gave up. But that was like wave 1. Like that was back when I did like Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein. So Jaws, I'm very happy to report, is now finally in the assortment with the new art direction with a little bit more, fleshed out portraits. So we've got our Jaws menacing coming out of the water. I'm pretty happy with this. I struggled the most with the water because I didn't want it to be dumb. I didn't want the water to look dumb. and it was really difficult. It was really difficult. I don't know if I'm sold on the water, but it's good enough to move on. I'm also not quite sure how the printing will work, if there will be any issues. And the reason I say that is because, you know, when you upload these, you have to upload them, it's on like a white background. So if it can't see, if it's white on white, it won't print. BF says, okay, sorry, I'm in and out of chat because I'm at the office. That's all right. Don't worry about it. I know how it goes. So I'm feeling like, even though, right, like you can see that this is the edge of the sticker, the desired cut line, as it were, right, like that. I feel like once I upload it to the site, I may have issues where they're gonna say the cut line is, you know, like this, because they can't see the white. But I don't know if it even matters, right? We'll see. And my boss rotates days, so today she is here, of course. However, I'm listening and pondering your thoughts, Kevin. Well, I appreciate that. Ray says the company doesn't let you upload a vector cut line. I don't think they do that through the automated thing. I'd have to reach out to them. I know that when I've done like the Waldo, so the Waldo sticker is a stamp, right? And the border is white, and I needed that to be maintained. And so I needed to use a clear background so that we could keep the white. And I could not use any of the automated systems. So I had to like use their contact form to like send them the file and stuff. So I'm sure it's possible. It's just a bigger pain. But like I said, I don't even know if it's really, if this, on this particular piece, if it will make a difference. You know, like, what's the real difference in a cut line looking like that, right? Or the cut line, you know, being a little bit closer because it can't see that white. I don't know. Maybe it'll add to the organicness of the water. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. BF says, also, my husband's name is Kevin. Another member of the Council of Kevins, you say. We do have a council. So, Jaws. Pretty happy with this. That's our Jaws. And then yesterday, I finished up Jack and Sally. So let me show you Jack. Jack is done. So here's our Jack Skellington. Add some kind of color for the back so you can help stand out a little bit more. And I went back and forth on this one. As you guys saw in the concept sketch, I had him like angry Jack, but then I don't know. I was like, I do want them to kind of work together, Jack and Sally, like potentially like, you know, a group buy if you got both of them, because they are, you know, it's a big thing. So I went with the happier Jack. I was flip-flopping on that all the way to the very end. But there's Jack. I scaled down his bat bow tie a little bit because it's gigantic, right? Like, it's really gigantic, which is part of the humor of it. Because I think like the actual reference is it's like way out here, right? And I'm like, I don't want to do that because then that sticker is going to be crazy expensive, because I would have to be extra wide to accommodate the real length of the bow tie. So, you know. Ray says, you made the right choice. That one's clean. Thanks, Ray. And so then, yeah, you can see the background. We've got the classic little spiral mountain thing, and then I've got some bats that are flying off against this moon. And I'll show you Sally. These will all be available on my site October 1st, if not sooner. But the plan is October 1st. That's the launch of Halloween. That's when all the social stuff changes. That's when the new products launch. That's when the gift of purchase is available. It's October 1st. But I'll probably do things a little earlier if I have them a little earlier, just so I don't have to like get stuff loaded on the website and stuff. But the gift of purchase won't start until the 1st. So here's Sally. Let's see. Can I do a stretch the canvas? That was probably not enough, but it's fine. So let me show you guys. Let me get Jack. What's going on, Jack? I get Jack over here to Sally. So these are meant to line up. I did design these with the intention that somebody would buy both. Even though I get that there's not two moons. Like, I understand that. I get that. But they do line up. What's up, Brian? So dope. Thank you. So they do line up across the two designs with the bats. And then we've got the spiral. We've got the spiral over here. And then this is Jack's house. So you would have like the little tower thing.
Wow. You did these freehand?
Yep.
I'm really proud of you.
Oh, thanks, Ray. So yeah, that's Jack's house, and it really was just because it had such a, like, I was looking through the buildings because I wanted to do some kind of Halloween town, and like she lives in like that big observatory, right? And it's not that great of a, like, the silhouette is not exciting. And Jack's house is like crazy angular, and like that's a really cool design. So I put that back there. But yeah, he's got that very tall tower. You know, he's like, what is Jack doing up there in his tower? But so that is Jack and Sally. So that means today after stream, I will be working on Gomez and Morticia Addams, which will be the last Halloween product, and then I'll be done. So the stickers will go off to the printer. I need to get the skeleton design off to the printer as well, and then Halloween plans are finished. Kevin's ready for Halloween. And Halloween's an important thing for me because the Halloween crowd likes my stuff. So I think that's all I have to say about Halloween. Close all these up. And as always, I thank you guys for entertaining me. Oh, here's another sticker. So I don't know how I feel about this sticker, okay? I made this. I don't know how I feel about this. What do you guys feel about this? This is a big guy. This is a big sticker. This is like a 4-inch by 3.5 inch. I don't know how I feel about it. I think it could be better. I think for me, and I definitely welcome if you guys have thoughts on this. I think for me, something here is not working. Is Among Us still cool? Oh, Raymond. I have that little tiny blue, like, cyan crewmate as a doodle sticker. That thing flies. That thing flies, man. Let's see. Brian says, I feel like the kids who would want an Among Us sticker would be satiated with the $2 one. Yeah. I think that's a solid argument. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm even going to do it. But it wasn't like it wasn't a lot of time, you know? I was like, eh. Yes, I am. It wasn't like a ton of time to do it. But then now that it's done, I'm like, do I like it enough? And for me, I don't know. Like, I feel like the legs should be a little bit more, not super bulbous like that. Like more, I don't know. I don't even know if I'm going to do this. And I feel like this leg, you should see the bottom, I think. Can you make it holographic, just on the screen and white lines or metallic? Maybe that's the play. Maybe it's this. Maybe I kind of clean it up a little bit more because I'm not really happy with that. But then do a holographic one. Because people like the holographic stickers. Ray says the legs are fine. Thanks, Ray. So I don't know. I just have it. So there we are. So now, for the rest of our time together, we can talk Earthbound. We can talk anything. I can show you guys some of my other sketches that I've been doing when I've been staying up way too late at night. Look at this, guys. I drew my hero, Giorgio Tsoukalos, from In Search of Aliens, Ancient Aliens. I can't tell you what night this was. I have no idea. I have spent an insane amount of nights over the last 30-something days staying up way too late. And, like, it's weird because I'm, like, tired but not tired enough to go to sleep, and, like, I really want to be creative and I want to draw stuff, but, like, I don't want to work on anything, like, real. I don't want to work on real stuff. I want to work on nonsense stuff. B-Hab says, let's talk about Brian. And then Brian says, I broke your record, Kevin. I was up till 5. No, I have never stayed up till 5. 4 was the latest. Brian, go to exactly. It had to. And your talent for Brian's talent for drawing? Oh yeah. So last night I stayed up till 1:30 last night drawing Earthbound stuff. And I wanted to, like, I enjoy doing it, and I'm like, man, Kevin, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing this, Kevin. You got to get up for school tomorrow, 6 a.m. Got to get your kid ready. I woke up with such a headache. I was so tired. And I'm still tired. I'm like, see, the good news is now that the school season's back in, there's no way I can stay up late because I just can't. My body can't, because I have to be up at 6 a.m. every day to get him ready for school. And as I've been staying up later, I've been getting up later. And so that, I think this is a summer special, is to stay up crazy late. I don't see this happening again for a while. But so this was one night I was just randomly drawing stuff. So this is Bluster Kong from the Donkey Kong Country cartoon short-lived animated series. So he is in charge of a barrel factory. Bluster's Barrel Works. BF says, what I meant to type was your talent for drawing Brian and oh, that talent. Bobo says, dude, go to bed earlier. Brian says, I tired. Maybe he meant to say I tried, but I tired. Got us a D's. Thanks for the sub. 19 entire months. Oh, look, you got the hands. You got infinite hands. You got the infinite hands. I don't think I've seen anyone get that one yet. You haven't even seen... No, you have not. You have not seen the best of the best. I guarantee you have not seen the best of the best yet. You have not seen the best of the best. But yeah, so I opened up Ancient Aliens, and I just randomly picked a screenshot, and I was drawing Giorgio Tsoukalos, and then I drew Bluster Kong from Donkey Kong, the animated series. I draw nonsense when I'm super late at night. Let's see, what else can I show you guys? I was drawing some more Wario Land. So I think when I'm done, when I finish the Earthbound series, I think I'm going to do Wario Land enemies. There is a fraction of enemies in Wario Land than there are. So Earthbound, I finally did the research. I started this, I committed to this, and I didn't even know what I was committing to. There's 179 enemies in Earthbound. That means I will be posting 179 pieces of artwork. It's ludicrous. I'm still excited. I still love it. But I really didn't think it was that many. I thought it was like 80. I honestly thought like, it's probably like 80-ish enemies. 179. So when I finish, I'll probably be doing... you love getting... I do. Goddess of D says, Kevin, I want you to draw my new logo. I want to commission you, I mean. Nice. Yeah. You know where to find me. So these are some Wario Land enemies that I was just drawing for fun one night. So this is like the bird. He like swoops down and tries to peck you. Very similar to like Donkey Kong Country. BF says, I'm laughing so hard to myself at my desk and everyone at the office must think I'm insane. You know, just say random business words. Say like, oh, the Johnson's account again. Just random like We need to work on our synergy a little bit better, or we're not going to get a better ROI on, just say random business words. This is a porcupine, this little guy, and so if you try to like jump on his head, he gets angry, and these little spikes shoot out. So you have to like charge him. You have to charge him with your shoulder and punch him out of existence. Brian says, Kevin, I showed B-Habs the scandalous polish. It's not scandalous. What it is beautiful. It's not scandalous. OMG the bun. This guy is a dead. So like in Mario games, you've got the Goombas, right? And in Wario, you've got these like, they're not mushrooms, but they got a weird like pointy head like that, and that's like the common enemy. And they have like a little spear, and when they die, they turn into these ghosts, and they have like little floating spears. BF says, I know what ROI is, but I don't do that at work. Just say random business things. Pick whatever your heart wants. Just pick it. Ray says, you finished the butt drawing. Oh, Ray. Raymond. It was as if I owed a debt to society. I had to pay it. See, but the thing is now my secret is exposed. Because if you watched that stream and you saw there was a couple drawings I took from that canvas and put them on my own special collection, I was like, I will readdress these later. This is the last one. This is like the Womp. So in Mario, you know, you got the Womps. And they're like very, you know, Wario's versions are a lot spikier and they're a lot more agitated. So. Let's see. Brian says, you can show it, Kevin. Should I? Shall I? Ray, this was always going to end with you drawing butts. Was it? That's true. No, don't show the color version yet. Don't do it. Don't you dare. It was always going to end with butts, wasn't it, Ray? It was always going to end with butts. That needs to be like a ceremonial reveal. You need to make it twerk. That is it. That's when I hand the baton to someone else. Oh, here you go. All right, what else did I draw that I can show you guys before we do? Oh, I've had a couple new patrons, and I'm very thankful for that. That is incredibly awesome to have new people join my Patreon. And if you join my Patreon at the $20 tier, you get a traditional thank you illustration drawn per your request and mailed to you. And so I just finished one of those, and I mailed it to my new patron. He confirmed that he received it, and he liked it. So I'm going to be posting that online soon, but you guys can see it now. He pops into the streams from time to time. His username is Shy Guy Blogs, so that might sound familiar. And he wanted me to draw him Shy Guy. So this is a drawing that I did for him for joining my Patreon, and he has received it. So he got it in the mail a couple days ago. He was very happy with it. So he just wanted a Shy Guy. That was all. Please draw me a Shy Guy. So this was a traditional drawing that he got. You need to make it twerk like he... Oh, I already read that. I've already read this come. Declan the Duck. Goddess of D says, I didn't realize how much I missed you, Kevin. Yesterday, I got a tube mailer, and it wasn't for me, and I was sad. That is sad. You will be getting stuff from me very soon, though, because there's the 3 new small prints, Wonder Woman, Sailor Moon, and Wario, and that will require a bigger mailer than an envelope. And there's new stickers, because the Platinum patrons are owed Thrawn and Link, and then I've got Diddy Kong and Charmander that are arriving. Did I show you guys the new Diddy Kong? I can't remember. I'll just show you again, because why not? There's a new Diddy Kong. Finally. So this is the new Diddy Kong sticker. I redesigned, or not really, I refreshed it, so I added a little bit of the shoulders, I added the tail, and his icon, of course, is a barrel, because it has to be a barrel. So that is already ordered, and it's already on the way. So I'm just waiting for it to show up. But Diddy Kong is brand new. I haven't had Diddy Kong in the assortment since 2020 because I ordered the wrong size and it was stupid. And I said, well, I'm not going to order them again until I refresh it. So, also, just miss my voice, which sounds really creepy now, but I've seen it in print and I'm not deleting it. There you go. Always be confident. Just act with the confidence. Oh, you're a fan of Diddy Kong? Nice. Haven't seen the new show. So then there's the new Charmander too. And admittedly, this is not super fancy, but you know, this is the new Charmander. So he's got the classic Pokeball and a little bit of the body and the tail, right? So not crazy fancy, but that's the new direction. So the other Pokemon will have that. If I do any rare ones, so like all the starters, I think eventually, right, at some point I have to have all the starters. So goodness gracious, I can't wait to draw 30 more things. But if I do any other like special ones, like maybe legendaries, I might do different variants of the Pokeball. So like Great Ball or Ultra Ball or Master Ball. If like I did like a Mewtwo, I could see myself doing a Mewtwo one because Gen 1 and me. So, but that's the new one. That's also already ordered and it's already on the way. So Charmander and Diddy Kong. So you will be getting stuff from me very soon. All right, let me close that. I'm really happy with this Shy Guy too. You can't see in the photo because I mess around with the layers to kind of make the blacks a little darker and kind of just brighten things up. But there is, you can't even see it at all, but there is like blue and, I mean, you can see it a little bit here. There's blue shading on the helmet, which I thought looked, or the mask, which I thought looked really, really nice. And you can see it in the real piece. You just can't see it in this photograph I took of it. So yeah, he was really happy with that, and that was ideal. That's the goal. I want patrons to be happy. Behabs loves Shy Guy. Nice. The crab, the baby phoenix. There was some good ones in that stream. Mewtwo is the best. Yes. You guys saw I drew a Junimo, right? I drew a Junimo one night from Stardew Valley because look how adorable it is. I don't know if I like the feet. I think the feet need to be even smaller. I think if I did this again, let me just draw right on top of it. I think I would make the feet even tinier to match like the hands. Love the Junimo. Nice. See, if you like Stardew Valley, you're gonna like the Junimo. Yeah, look at that. Addicted to Stardew. I used to love Stardew Valley. I mean, I still do love Stardew Valley. The thing is, I had the Switch version, and I sunk, I mean, I don't know, 200 hours, I think, into it, and I loved it. I loved everything about it. I had a great time, and then they did an update. So, okay, I got to the point where I was, like, polishing the farm, right? I just wanted it to look beautiful because I'd already unlocked everything. I'd already gotten everything. I already upgraded all the tools. I did all the things. So now it's like when you're having fun, right? The work is done and now you're having fun. And so I was making this gorgeous farm and I really loved it. I was really happy with it and I had like these beautiful pathways everywhere. And they did like a patch update and somehow in the update it flipped the material I had chosen to use as my pathways into a totally different thing. And so all the beautiful like cobblestone pathways that I had meticulously chosen for my pathways had like reverted to like clay or something really ugly. And I was like, why is my whole farm covered in clay? And I went online, I was like, what's going on? And a lot of people had said that there was like a small handful of items that had gotten screwed up in the most recent update, and it had like reverted them to a different item. So I was highly agitated. I had spent a ridiculous amount of time and money and materials like crafting this cobblestone pathway. So you had to create each square, and I had to do it all again because the patch update had like deleted or not, like transformed all of my pathways into like clay. And I was like, this looks hideous. I didn't want this, so I demolished all of it, the whole farm, the pathways, and remade all of them, which cost me another ridiculous amount of time, materials, all that stuff. And I repaved everything I did it again. And so guess what happened? Like a week later, they did another update because they wanted to fix the issues that they had found with the last update. So it updated it, and it did it again. It did it a second time. I turned on the game. There was my entire farm filled with the cobblestone pathways that I had just redone. All had turned back to clay again. I can't tell you how sad and irritated I was, and I was done. After I had redone it and then had to I didn't even redo it the second time because I said I'm not doing that again. I mean, it was like the better part of 4 or 5 days of gathering all the stuff and the money to just make all of the materials because I wanted a fancy pathway, and of course the fancier the more it cost. So I was done. I haven't played it since then. I had like gotten all of the Junimos. I had like unlocked them all or found them all and like rebuilt the community center. I had put like the evil conglomerate mart out of business. I did all of it. So I mean, I kind of accomplished what I wanted to. I didn't do any of the relationship stuff, so I never started like dating anybody or trying to have a family. I just did all the solo things. So the co-op isn't available on all platforms, which is annoying, but I think I would have given up on Stardew after that. Yeah, see, that's why I was done. Goddess of D says that would have irritated me too. I went to 100% it before I play PC, which is, yeah. So Ray says, what's the UFO guy from? So I also shared this little guy. This was another quick little drawing I did one night, way too late. This is a character from Super Mario Land on the Nintendo Game Boy. So Mario's first platformer. There is a world in which UFOs are, like, you start the level from a UFO. Like, you come down the beam of light, and that's how you start. It's ridiculous. And these little, like, robotish looking guys, which you would think they're just robots, but they fly around, and then their head pops off, and it's absolutely a UFO, and it, like, hovers around, and then it, like, redocks back into the body. And I think you have to bounce on them twice to beat them. But it is such an obscure enemy. It's like just in that one world, never appears ever again anywhere else. So, Super Mario Land. Oh, look at these! I forgot I drew these. Oh, man. So, speaking of Super Mario Land, again, another night I was up way too late, and I was like, I just want to draw something. I don't want to go to sleep. I said, what would it be like if I looked at the original sprites from Super Mario Land and pretended that I didn't know, like, the guides to Mario? Like, what is Mario supposed to look like? What are I'm pretending my only reference is the sprites. That's it. That's all I get. So this was like my Mario based on the Super Mario Land sprite, not knowing what Mario looks like, or pretending to not know what Mario looks like. This is the Goombas, because that's what they look like in that game. This is they're not really Koopa Troopas, because they have like little bombs on their back in that game. And then the Piranha Plants are like really weird looking. They're like egg shaped, and they have no teeth. They're like weeds. I should polish these up at some point when I'm not doing a million other things. Close these out. This is the stuff that I almost never share anywhere or post properly, because it's like really, really rough late at night sketching things that I just do for fun. And I don't feel like it's polished enough, really. I did this. So this was something that was fun. I was trying to see how much my skill had improved. So I took this drawing of 7 of 9, character from Star Trek Voyager, that I drew in 2019. So that is the artwork you see on the left. So that is a 2019 drawing. And I just tried to draw it again. So let me just draw it again. Let's see how I would approach the same thing. So the one on the right is from whatever, a couple days ago or last week. And yeah, I can definitely see some improvement. It's still not perfect by any means, but there's definitely some improvement going on. I don't know if it's like it nails the likeness, of course, as always, right? That's my never-ending struggle, is how much does it match the likeness of a person if I'm trying to make it look like a specific person. But sometimes that's not important. It doesn't matter if it looks like the person. It just needs to make sure you get the character who it's supposed to be. So that was something I did the other night. I'm biased, but I think all of your art looks polished and clever. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I drew Ben Barber. Did you guys see my drawing of Ben Barber? Here's Ben. Ben Barber. I drew this actually a little while ago, but he was doing a live stream, and I sent it to him while he was live streaming so that I could get the live reaction. It's all about the live reaction. I just want to see the live reaction, really. But I drew that while I was watching him do the live stream. So I didn't have a still image. I was like eyeballing it from him moving around and talking and being animated and all that kind of stuff. Yes, it is Ben. That's such a good one. Thank you. BF says, okay, I have to go back to listening for a bit, but I did write you back. Oh, thank you, on Patreon. Such a professional, Mr. I am a professional. Thank you. Thank you for realizing this. Also a Bewildedon. Yes, I did draw a Bewildedon on that stream.
I think I've improved on your methods a bit too. I employed some chiaroscuro shading.
I'll improve on your methods.
What?
Ray, people love seeing the Trogdor sticker. I've only had it for a couple shows now, but people love the Trog. Like my people. My people love seeing the Trogdor, the Burninator. Goddess of D says, I need to figure out how to log into Patreon from my new phone. Yeah. I mean, they have an app, so download the app and throw that on your phone. The app is not perfect, but it's good enough. It's good enough. What else? Should we look at Earthbound stuff now, or do you want me to share some other art? I think I've shared most of these things, though. I'm skimming through this stuff. Yeah, this stuff's all been shared already. Let's just look at Earthbound stuff now. Let's look at Earthbound things. Yeah, I haven't, but I logged in from Apple masking my email, and I haven't been able to log. Oh. That's literally my #1 Trogdor. Earthbound. Bobo Lavo says, Behab's work meetings are indeed more boring than Kevin. Sitting here trying to do both. Yeah, well, I'm sorry. Alright, let's look at more Earthbound stuff. I drew these last night. This is what I was working on until 1:30 in the morning instead of going to sleep like a good father and getting ready for morning. So these are Earthbound enemies. This was like the first pass at these, so I haven't gone back yet to polish them up at all, which these are not meant to be polished. But these are some more enemies from Earthbound that I'm drawing for my TikTok series. So we've got this zombie. For him, definitely the standout is he's got these giant buck teeth. The sprite has these massive buck teeth. So that was like very important for me to add that to him. We've got these really weird looking ghosts. I've always thought the ghosts in Earthbound look really unsettling because they're like wispy and stuff. And I did like a really quick sketch of this on the other canvas, but I like this one better. But they're definitely unsettling. And they also have like really big buck teeth for some reason. They are all about the big buck teeth on the sprites from Earthbound, I've noticed. They come up like over and over again. We've got a mole. So this is a mole. I might like rearrange the body a little bit, like maybe move it over to be slightly more centered under the face. But that is a mole. We've got, this is a, I think his name is the Putrid Moldy Man. So he's living in a trash can. He's made out of garbage. So I gotta make sure I, like, you know, gotta have a banana peel in there, all kinds of trash. And he's got 2 hands, and he has a pet fly. He has a pet fly on a leash. So I'll do that at some point. And this is another enemy that's also in a trash can. You encounter both of these in the same place, in the same cemetery. So this guy is like he's like a red ghost demon. And he is jumping out of the trash can and, I guess, presenting himself. He's like, hello, look at me. And this one's not good at all. This was like literally the last thing I drew before I went to bed. It's supposed to be like a plant creature. I just like the face. I don't really like the rest of the body yet. But he's like, this is like a bulb, like a plant bulb. And that's a little Star Trek sound. And this is like more, it's like a plant creature. So these were just drawn last night. So this was just last night that I did these. Trash can bias? Yeah, probably. And now I'll open up the normal sheet, which has a ton more. The normal canvas. This has a ton more. So up here in the left-hand corner, this is all of the, for the most part, these are all the enemies that have already been seen. So I've shared those. There's a TikTok video every single day that shows a new enemy, and I'm going to start slowly uploading the artwork onto my other social platforms too. The problem is I have so much artwork to share, which is incredible. It's amazing. I have so much artwork to share that, like, I can't really afford to stop posting the other artwork to post the Earthbound artwork on the other socials. So it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be like, oh, here's a new one, and then, you know, a couple days later, here's another one, couple days later. You know what I'm saying? Because I've got so much other artwork I need to show, like commissions that I've done, other artwork from shows, Patreon gifts. I need to do the doodle stream posts every week, and then the time, like, there's so much other content to share that I'm like not pushing hard to be super quick with the Earthbound posts on other places other than TikTok, because this is very much a TikTok first series. Funny Fixes, geez, this will be a fun final image. Yeah, I might do a poster, Ray. I'm thinking about it. When it's all done, I'm thinking about it. So, all that stuff, all this stuff up here in the corner, people have seen, except this guy. This is the first Sanctuary Guardian. It's like the first big boss. He's the Titanic Ant, and he is going up in a couple days. And so this is the last video I have made, is this guy. So I've got 2 more days loaded, and then I need to do another batch, and I do like a batch of like 10. I've got plenty of characters to do it. I just haven't done the video part. So that's the Titanic Ant. Now, I shared a bunch of these last time, so these are all kind of repeats. Maybe you've already seen them, maybe you didn't. But these are all bad guys from Earthbound. Got the mushroom, got the little plant guy, got the Noose Man. We got Foppy, we got this little robot, we got the Mad Duck, the Worthless Protoplasm, little UFO with a bow. This is the Boogie Tent, this is a bee. We've got, at one point, we travel over to, oh, that's weird. I didn't realize I did that. Oh, that's going to be a problem later. I'm looking at how the, I thought I had erased some of the stuff around him, but it looks like I did not. I just drew with color, so that's going to be an issue later. But you go to like a Asian continent, and there's a lot of cultural influences on the enemies when you go there. So they're all like these ancient masters as like floating heads. Bo Leveau says, so you are putting together a new Earthbound graphics mod, like it gets that add-on in. I'm doing a series on TikTok where I'm redrawing every enemy from the game. So I'm taking their sprites and I redraw it based on the sprite. And I post a 15-second video where it says, you know, day whatever of drawing every enemy from Earthbound. It has the music from the game. It has like the battle like the engage in a battle spiral and the sound effects, and then you see the sprite, you see it for like 2 seconds, and then it flashes, and then it's my artwork. So there's no time lapse to it. It is literally looking at the old artwork, looking at the new artwork. It's 15 seconds long. You get to hear all the nostalgic music you want to hear, and that's it. It's been received crazy well. You're so hip with the TikTok. Yeah, not really. This is my first time to actually try to do this. To like try to focus on it and do something there. The first video, which was the dog, the runaway dog. Oh, I don't think he's actually here. No. So the first one, let me show you that. It's a separate file. All right, this was the first 3. So this dog is literally the first enemy you encounter in the game. So that video on my TikTok is sitting just underneath 30,000 views. And then the second character, which is this crow, is like 6,000 views. It does kind of fall off pretty hard for the coil snake. It goes down to like 1,000. But the thing is that it's been received exceptionally well. I've gained like 1,300 new followers in just a couple days, or I guess exactly 10 days, because I've been posting each day. And yeah, I hope it continues, because that is the hope. More eyes on the work and all that kind of stuff. So we got some more enemies. This is a little pile of puke. Yes, exactly what I just said. That is the character. It's a little tiny pile of puke with a face. He's in the game. This lady is like supposed to just be a crazy like lady out for shopping. So there's a couple different recolors of her. This is actually the first one you see, is the like purple version. I put a little Easter egg in there. I know Ray will get it. Ray will get it. I don't know if anyone else will get it, but so the purple one is the first version you see. I actually didn't realize that, so I did like the normal color version, which is the second version you see, which is a little odd from Earthbound. Usually you see like a quote-unquote normal version, and then you see a crazy recolor of it later. But for this character, you see the recolor first, because she appears in the second town, and then the normal color scheme appears like the fourth town. It's kind of weird. It's kind of backwards. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this normal one, because my game plan is to redraw all of the recolored versions as well as the normal ones, but do them in a slightly different pose. So I didn't want to just like copy and paste and then hit the color tool and just change it red. Like I wanted to actually do something a little different. So because this one is the normal pose, that means this one's kind of not really what I'll use anymore. So I'll have to redraw that in some other different pose. We got the cops done. So the cops are finally done. I know I was talking about that last time. I hadn't done the cops yet. These are your last 2 enemies in the first town. Is you've got the crooked cops. So you've got the cop on the right, and then you've got Captain Strong on the left, who's like the police chief. And then after these, you're done with the first town. So those are done now. We've got this little guy. This little old man out for a stroll. He's all bothered. So he's one that needs to continue to get polished up. We've got one of the happy cult guys, and it is very much a cult. It is very much supposed to be a nod to other such entities that you may be familiar with. So they added like the pom-pom to the end of the hood to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. They're all blue, and their goal is to paint everything in the world blue. So they have a little paint bucket and a paintbrush, and they paint everything and everyone and every animal blue. And then this is all I've done so far for like their leader. He's the cult leader. He needs like a little body and a little brush and everything. This is just the face of the character called the unassuming local guy, I think is his name. And he has this look from the game is burned into my brain. This look is like iconic for this character. So I wanted to make sure I got that face right. So we worked on that. I got a little cloud with a lightning bolt. I'm not really super happy with it. We'll see how it goes. And I started this guy that's like on fire. Not sure how I feel about it. Here was the old ghost I was mentioning that I had done. I think I made this one even more menacing and creepy, which I think is maybe a little too much. So I'm definitely happier with this ghost. That guy's the winner. This is a coffee cup with a giant hand formed from molten coffee. These are all legitimate enemies you fight in this game, which is why it's one of my favorite games. We've got the New Age Retro Hippie. And he is doing a wacky pose, like, that seems almost impossible to me to do, where he's got, like, both of his legs going the opposite way, and I'm like, this guy's, like, totally breaking his back or something. So that's what I'm playing with on the drawing. But he has been requested quite a bit. People have put some comments saying, can't wait for the New Age Retro Hippie. So he's on his way. And then here we got a robot, spinning robo. This is actually my youngest son's favorite enemy from the game for some reason. I don't know why, but he really likes the spinning robo. And that may be it for now, which is a lot, right? It's not enough, it's not all of them, but it's a lot. So yeah, I think that catches you guys up to date. And I did post on, I've started to post on the TikTok videos because of how much traffic they're getting. I said, hey, follow me on Twitch. I am sharing like sneak peeks at character reveals. And I did notice a couple people crossed over and hit the follow button. So hopefully more and more folks will join on other platforms. That would be ideal. So that is all for the Earthbound stuff, I think. Yes, it is indeed. So what else should we do? Should I draw something? One at a time. That's right, Ray. Should I draw something? Oh, here. I did this too. Look at this. So there's this part in the game where you kind of get to the halfway point. Like and it's a lot of time. There's a lot of time in this game. You get like halfway through the game and you get to Saturn Valley, which is an iconic location in the franchise. And you meet the Mr. Saturn people. They're these little pink bulbous little guys with giant noses. They have whiskers and they have one hair on top of their head with a bow tie. It's funny. It's iconic. It's an item in Smash Bros. You can literally pick these guys up and throw them. They're highly intelligent. They know how to travel through time. But so you get to this point in the game, and the game like forces you to like take a breather and reflect on how much you've accomplished to this point. So you get to this scene where like they're like, "Would you like a cup of tea?" And you're like, "Okay." So you have a tea, and it like just everything stops and just grinds to a halt for a minute. And you get like a cool like trance kind of meditation music, and you get like a slow crawl of text on the screen, and it just kind of reminds you of all the towns you've gone through and all the things you've accomplished and the people you've helped and the people you've met, and it's a really nice moment. And so I thought, you know what, when I'm going through this series of drawing every character, when I get to that point in my project where the game was at that project at the halfway point, I will do similar. I will hit a screeching halt on the reveals, and I'll have a day where it's like, "Would you like some tea?" And it'll show this, and I'll probably do, maybe even I'll talk, but I'll do like a, "Hey, let's reflect back on how far we've come, all the enemies that we've redrawn and shown together, and the memories we've relived, and then we'll start back again the next day." So I drew this up so I could have it ready to go for when that moment happens. I thought that would be a clever thing to do. And so this is like a replication of that scene. Oh, TikTokers love slowing down and flying. Well, you know, I know. But it's such a pivotal thing in the game, and so I'm kind of hoping that as opposed to just your casual TikTok audience, it will resonate better for people that are the hardcore Earthbound fans that have been kind of watching the series. And it'll be just that one day. Just the one day, just the one video, and then it'll go back to the regular format. But it is an absolutely iconic part of the game. Trust me, I'm disdaining the talkers, not you. So, and then my other plan, this is getting way ahead of myself, but when we get to the end, when we get to the last, I haven't decided if I'm going to do the last two, so Pokey and Gygus, or just Gygus, but I will give a proper full time lapse of me drawing the last one. And I'll extend it to whatever the max is. I guess it's 3 minutes, but I'll do the max amount of time I can, and I will probably show up on the camera or whatever and be like, you know, day 179 of drawing every, and then I'll do, yeah, I kind of leaning towards doing both, and then I will show the full time-lapse footage of me drawing that character, because it's the end. It's the end of it. I've had a couple people, not many, I've had a couple people ask if I've got time lapses of these, and I'm like, no, I do a lot of time lapse videos. I've got plenty of time lapse videos on my YouTube channel. I got time lapse videos on my, if you just scroll down here on TikTok, you can see them. But this one, a lot of times I end up working on these really late at night, and I just don't feel like it. I mean, that's the honest is I just don't feel like it. I don't feel like doing time lapse videos for these. Because it's just another thing. It's another thing to do. I've got plenty of other things to do. I don't mind doing the clever little video editing and do the reveal. I've got my templates saved, so it's drag and drop. But I just don't feel like doing. So for the last one or the last two, I will do a full time lapse, and I'll do something clever. But that was something I drew in anticipation of doing that. No, I'm not going to save this. No, we're not going to save that. And we're not going to save this one. Or that one. Or that one. And yeah, I think that's like everything I can share that I've done recently. Looking through, I'm skimming through this folder. Nah, not really. This is kind of it. So what do you guys want to do? You have my undivided attention for like another, I don't know, like half an hour. I'll give you guys another half an hour. We can do whatever you want to do. What do you want to do? You guys want to throw a challenge at me? You want to use some of your hard-earned exposure bucks and throw a challenge my way? Should I work on Earthbound stuff? Should I just pick one and work on it? What do you want to do? You want to talk about things? You want to talk about life? I leave it up to my humble audience what we should do today. Now that we've discussed and looked and have been inspired. You want to challenge me to a duel? Nice. Cool. Let's do it. I don't have many bucks. Well, you're going to have to watch more often. That way you can be a proper artist and earn your exposure bucks. We don't work for money around here. We work for exposure. Alright. So, I will just work on one of the Earthbound things. It's fine. I'll just do that. I challenge you to finish writing this report and I'll draw for a change. I'm trying. I know. You're doing great. You're doing awesome. Alright, which character do you guys want to watch me draw? From this, looking at this sheet. Hashtag professionalism. Looking at this sheet. A, B, C, D, E. We're not going to do that guy because he's not anywhere near being ready. First person pick a letter. D for demon. Cool. All right, we're gonna work on T. Thank you, Ray. So let me get the sprite, so normally I have 2 monitors. I have the monitor that's built into my tablet, and then I've got my regular one. And on one screen, I'll have the sprite up, and then on my screen I'm drawing, I can look at it. So, but because I have Streamlabs up, I'm gonna copy and paste this, which will also help you guys. You can see what I'm doing. Look how tiny. It's so small. So this is the character that I am redrawing. I've been using like a pencil-like brush for this. I think it also kind of helps me keep it not so polished, because I would probably default to trying to make it super polished if not. You know? What does a trash can look like? I need to look at a picture of a trash can. I want this to be authentic trash can. You end up Googling the most ridiculous things. I Googled rocks the other day. I was like, what do rocks look like? It's like ridiculous. There we go. That's the trash can. That is the trash can I want. And I noticed that this sprite, the trash can looks to be in pretty good shape. It's not like banged up or anything. Not like this guy. This guy's trash can is done. Oscar the Grouch, pretty much. Pretty much. But this one is not as messed up. So I'm gonna just draw it as if it's in pretty good shape. And we've got, yeah, I wanted to put the little like handles on it. Nah, you wouldn't even be able to see it in that perspective. What's up, Ike? This trash demon feels very proud of himself. He is very proud of himself. How you doing, man? BF says, I didn't know that they made those metal trash cans still, but one of my neighbors has some. Yeah, that's wild. Definitely not current. Well, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. We've been using that trash can since 1982. What can you even do with that? You can't, like, you have to use the big plastic ones to, at least to, like, put out on the curb, right? Ike says, we have one of those. Nice. Look at you. Vintage. Thank you guys for hanging out today. I do appreciate it, as always. I appreciate when you guys give me some company, someone to talk to that I'm not talking to myself. Let's see. BF says, no, they're younger. Like, they had to have recently bought them because they aren't all rusty. Oh. Like, we only trust this kind. Crazy. Ike, how did the birthday thing go? I'm sorry I wasn't able to. I wanted to pop in just to say, hey, happy birthday, congrats, but I was like, I was busy. I couldn't get through it. I'm sorry. But I hope it went well. Proper celebration. Ike says, we don't have a waste service here, though, so we don't put it out on the curb. My dad takes it to his work stop. Really? You don't have a waste management system service going on? That's wild. Do you live in Alaska? Alright, new layer. I'm gonna draw the lid, and I don't want to mess up the can, so new layer. The last few days have been full of birthday shenanigans. It's great. We have it available. My parents just choose not to. Oh, interesting. All right. Well, okay. I'm glad there's been lots of shenanigans, though. That's good. But we do live in a tiny one-stop light town. Oh, that'll do it, too. Dude, I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. Yesterday, my mom and I made blueberry jam, our first time canning. That's cool. Did you, like, grow the blueberries yourselves, or did you, like, go pick them from a farm? We have a lot of that around us. Like, pick your own apples and pick your own blueberries, your own strawberries, and all that kind of stuff. I don't do any of it. But we have it. We went to a U-Pick farm. Yeah. 4 pounds. Nice. Alright, now we've got this excellent trash can. Now we draw our demon coming out of it. I need to erase some bits of the trash can. Dun 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 dun. Evil demon. Do you want to see photos? We tested the jam on some pancakes. That's awesome. Sure. Yeah, if you want to see them, that's cool. Man, pancake sounds pretty good right now. I need to eat something. I haven't had my lunch yet. I didn't feel like eating. You know what I hate? I hate when you really should eat, but you don't feel like eating. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, it's gonna like block it. How do I make this so that it works? I'm supposed to do a thing, right? What do I do? I think if I make you a VIP, which you should be, you can post links, right? Isn't that how this works? I'm a Twitch professional. Creator dashboard. Community. Roles. Where are you? Add new. Wait, what does it say? There you are. I made you a VIP. I think you're supposed to be able to post links now. I think. Yeah, it blocked it out. It turned it into the asterisks. Look at these beautiful asterisks you have. But I think, unless I'm mistaken, I think that allows you to post links when you're a VIP. But maybe I'm wrong. Oh, it yelled at you anyway. Sorry, man. You can send it Discord. Sorry to be difficult. I excel at being... Yeah, that made it worse. I don't know why. That's stupid. You would think like, oh, this person is a VIP, so we should be extra hard on them. But you can definitely remain a VIP. You are a very important person. I wish I could assign more artist badges. I love that they have that, but I get that it's more for, you know, giving credit for artists that are like making stuff for other people, not like the overall artist community. It's like, because I would like love to assign that to folks that I know are artists here and like pop into my streams and stuff. Okay, cool. Ray says, wow, what happened? Oh, links. We're just trying to like look at links and they were being all Nightbot or whoever was being dumb. Nice. Let me show these to the class. Oh, stop. Stop doing that. I kind of want pancakes though now. What have you done? What have you done to me? Oh, why did I do that? Oh, is this Kirby music now? That's awesome. Oh man, I'm all in. Why are you not? It's fine. It's fine. Look at this. Look at this. I step away to make one phone call. Man. Maybe this was a mistake. Now I want to... I'm so hungry now. Yeah, alright. That looks great, though. Looks awesome. And the photos of the cans, too, is pretty... the jars. I should say the jars. Looks awesome. That is beyond me, sir. I hate cooking. I hate cooking so much. Those are also homegrown potatoes. Nice. And Ray's starving as well. Look, I think that was maybe I made a mistake. I just made everybody hungry. Oh man, it looks great though. But yeah, I am not a fan of cooking at all in any way. I hate it. If I was rich, I would 100% have like a chef. I don't need a maid. I don't need someone to clean up after me. I need someone that's gonna cook. That's what I need. Draw that, Kevin. Now that we're all hungry. Now everybody's hungry. Look what you did. Look what you've done. Definitely when the stream's over, I'm definitely gonna eat. But what was I saying earlier? I hate it when you should eat, but you don't because you don't feel like eating, but you know that you're not going to get a chance for a while. You know what I'm saying? You're like, I really should eat because I won't get a chance to eat if I don't do it, but you just can't do it. You can't force yourself when you're not hungry. I mean, I guess you can, but it's just like, I hate it. Ike says, I love cooking. If I had the time, I would cook a nice meal every day. Oh. I can't do it. I'm not about it. That's awesome, though. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. I will fuse that And now we need to do the arms. I like that little arm right here. I don't know if I'm particularly happy with this other one, at least in my sketch. Tonight, we're going to try this new zucchini and rice dish with some leftover beef roast. See, and tonight I'm like, should I order pizza or Chinese food? We actually haven't had pizza in a while. We don't eat pizza super often, but last night I made chicken and rice. It was like the easiest thing I could do, and I did nothing. I did nothing. I was like, here's the chicken. I put salt and pepper on it, and I was like, here's the rice. It is white rice. Ike says, I haven't had pizza in a while either. I want a good greasy slice. Yeah, you know, sometimes you just, that's what you need. You just need it. Oh my goodness, that comment. Some of you guys saw my tweet. I was laughing because I'm like, this guy told me, a child, most likely a child, told me on TikTok that I wasn't drawing any of these. That I was using a, like an enhancement program where I guess you just automatically input sprites and it just makes art for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? And I told this guy, I was like, no, I drew it. And he goes, no, you did. Like, literally, he replied with, no, you didn't. I was like, oh. I didn't? I thought it was so funny. He wouldn't let me have it, though. He was like, no, it's like a sass hole. I haven't heard that one before. But yeah, he said I wasn't drawing any of my artwork. I was just taking these sprites and inputting them into some magic proprietary software, and it regurgitated me this beautiful artwork. That's what I'm calling the little teenage turds. Funny Fix says, reminds me of the guy who told me I was tracing as I drew in front. Yeah, that's amazing. As you're literally drawing in front, it's like astonishing. Oh my goodness. We gotta get rid of a little bit of this action here. All right, there we go. We did it. I lifted up the paper and showed him underneath, but still could not be convinced. Some people are amazing. BF says, report him on TikTok. Not worth my time. The cognitive dissonance of jealousy, people trying to find yeah. I was just like, wow, this guy. You are something, my friend. You are something. Anybody that knows me, you guys that know me, you know I am not a gloater. I don't like gloat about stuff. I try not to really be that kind of guy. But he absolutely got that from me. I was like, dude, I'm a published illustrator. What part of me do you think needs to lie? He got the Hinkle sass. But that was it, just the one. I didn't have any other time for it. And that's why we ended with him thinking he was right. What was his last comment? Was like, I'm sorry if reality, if the reality bothers you or something like that. And I'm like, this guy's on a different planet. You are not confident. No, not at all. And I have my patience is like through the roof. I am one of the most patient people on the planet, and I'm not even kidding. Boop. Boop. We're gonna color it now. Are you ready? Buckle up. That's why you should have reported him. Passive-aggressive payback. Little Final Fantasy music going on. So it's definitely like pink, but I kind of see him as red. I've been doing a little bit of administrative decision making on some of the color choices because I'm like, like Frank. So Frank, he's like the gangster with like the two knives. His sprite is a little bit more red, but I went a little bit more like pink with it because I'm like, that just seems like he would do that. Like it just seems like his style. Funny Fix says, I mean, honestly, not even worth responding. I know. I just did like the first response, and then he was like, no, you didn't. And then I did the, dude, I'm a published illustrator, man. And then that was the end of it. I didn't respond after that. Behab says, was a customer service manager for 13 years. I hit a point, and then you're going to probably regret it. Yeah. No, I worked retail for 7 years. So I'm acutely aware of customers. Customers, as they say. And then I eventually got to management, so I was also the, can I speak to the manager? I'm like, oh, great. Well, that's me too. Well, that is also me. Should I do a little highlight maybe, I guess? I don't know. I guess I will. Ike says customers, said like Drake and Josh say Megan. It was so fun this weekend at Retro World just listening to all the retro video game music that they play like the whole time. That's why I get so sad, is that I love everything about that show, I just don't do well. And that makes me sad. I'm not trying to be a millionaire, but I'm trying to make money. So if you take out the craft fairs, which I'm fully aware that I am not going to make the same amount of money at a craft fair than I do a Comic-Con. If you remove the craft fairs, I think Retro World is now 2 for 2 in being my worst performing show for the year. It's wild. Ba-dum-bum. We probably could swap some good stories. Yeah, probably. My favorite one, though, out of everything, the one that immediately comes to mind was... I was on the phone once, and this lady was very irate and said that I needed to explain to her child on the phone. So this was on the phone. I had explained to her child why he wasn't going to get the Christmas present that he wanted because we were sold out of the item. And I said, sure, put him on the phone. And so I was connected to the young man, and I said, I'm really sorry to tell you this, but the Christmas gift that you really want, you're not going to get, because your mom and your dad waited to the last minute to buy it. And instead of buying it ahead of time like a lot of other people did, they waited to the last second, and now we're sold out of it. I'm sorry. And he was like, oh, well, that's okay. And I'm like, well, thanks for being so understanding. And then I hung up on him. I had so many parents over the years try to like guilt trip me in terms of being a parent. Like, well, how am I going to explain this to my kid? I'm like, the way you explain everything to your kid? Like how I explain everything to my kid? But they always were trying to use that as like some kind of guilt trip. It's like, you're not going to... I am a parent. You're not going to like get one over on me by trying to guilt trip parenting on me. If anything, I'm gonna make fun of you for being a bad parent. Oops. I'm like, can you do a better job parenting? How about that? How about that instead? Ray enjoys it. Behab is also entertained. Was told by a mom that I ruined her 23-year-old daughter's Christmas because of the color sweater she wanted. I know. They love it. They love to guilt trip. Like nobody's business. I'm like, what do you gain from this? Like, you know, like really. Let's be real for a minute. For a minute. Can we be real for a minute? Oh, a little Stardew Valley music. There we go. I told her that her daughter shouldn't have a sweater ruined for her Chris. Yeah, see? You have to say something like that because some of these folks just get so irrational and it's like, what are we doing? What are you doing? I miss Stardew Valley though. I can't do it because it's like I was too broken after they ruined my perfect farm. But I do miss it sometimes. Like, man, I should play it again. All right, there you go. That's another one for the list. 54 messages were deleted. What did you do, Behabs? What did you say? Spam? Nightbot is on a tear today. I guess so. I didn't even see the message. What was it? You being out of control? The word stupid? I mean, that's not that bad. It's like, we didn't like this, so we're gonna eliminate everything you ever said. I need to open up the canvas to add this to the assortment. Where are you? There you are. Hello. You go where all the rest of your people are. Nice. Little Skyward Sword. Little Fi music there. I don't know if it's Fi or Fee. I don't know. Oh, dang. Alright. So we gotta do a thing real quick. Sometimes I forget to color little white bits, and then you can't go back, so it's like, there we go. I draw it on the layer behind it, and then I fuse it. Merge, as they say. Oh, you know what else this is missing? The shadow. I said the swear word version of dang. Oh, that'll do it. Yeah, that'll probably do it. It is set to not allow any actual curse words. I do have that set up, and I probably won't change that, but I don't want it to be overly aggressive for no reason. I need to draw the little shadow. I try to draw the shadows if the sprite had a shadow. Most of them do. There it is. Added to the assortment. It's okay. It's my fault. Just ask Brian. Check. Roger. Roger Wilco. So that is usually the amount of time it takes me to do one of these, unless it's like really complicated. But then even when I say really complicated, that's like just add the time, like just double it is really all. So like something that was complicated was, I guess like the more humanoid, right? Like the police with their uniforms and stuff, they were a little bit more complicated. All of the skate punk guys, like Frank, the pogo punk, the skate punk, those guys took a little bit longer to do because they were trickier. Obviously, Foppy took me the most amount of time. Obviously, Foppy. Foppy's the best. I think I get to draw a second Foppy because I think there's a recolor of Foppy in the game. So I get to redraw Foppy again. Okay, so I've been streaming for, oh good, 2.5 hours. That's exactly what I wanted to do. Literally 10 seconds away from 2.5 hours. That's awesome. So I'm about to get out of here, guys. Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything you guys want to talk about? Anything you want to see before I go away? And then you don't see me again until Friday. Speak now. Thank you guys for being here. As always, I definitely appreciate you stopping by and keeping me company. Looking at my artwork is awesome. You guys are awesome for doing that. It makes me feel the love. Feel the love. Have a lovely week. Thank you. You as well. This Friday, so Doodle Stream, this Friday, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. normal time. Nothing's happening. I'm not going anywhere. Our stream is themed gummies. So Bobo Laveau, if you're here, if you're still here listening, you're up this Friday. So gummies is the theme of the episode for the Doodle Stream this Friday evening. All gummies. Everything is gummies. We'll see how it goes. But it is essentially sponsored by Bobo Laveau as one of my patrons. My patrons do get to pick themes for future episodes of the Doodle Stream. There is a running thread there that they can add their prompts to it if they wish. They don't have to, but if they wish, they can. So Gummies is this Friday, and then we have only 3 more. So after Gummies, we have Fill the Scene, again from Steve. It'll be a battle. And then we have Horses 2 by, you guessed it, Matt Elder, exclamation point horses in the chat. So Horses 2, and then our last stream for the round 2 of suggestions is Andrew Bulltop with furries. We are going to end with furries. A whole stream dedicated to furries. It'll be great. It'll be super lucrative. I'll finally make it big. I just gotta draw furries. So yeah, we don't have that many left until we're done through all of these. Oh yes. Because yeah, Gummies, Fill the Scene, Horses 2, and Furries. We have 4 more weeks worth of patron themes, and then we go back into a break again. And I will pick like I don't know, 3 or 4 themes myself, and we'll do those, and then we're gonna start all over again. And I am fairly sure I have decided that I will be doing live streaming of the Hinktober drawings here on Twitch. So that will happen here this year as opposed to Instagram, which is where it's happened the last couple years. All right, so that's it for me, guys. Let's find somebody else to raid. If you have to head out now, I totally understand. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out with me. I do appreciate it very much. And now I'm going to head over to the Twitchverse to see if there's any other artists that I follow that are currently live. Oh yes, look, we've got Bree. Bree, like the cheese, is currently live. And Bree is definitely a friend of the channel. Bree also just celebrated a birthday very recently. You guys are all... Yes, Ike, it is called Inktober. Because, you know, there was that whole legal thing a couple years ago with Inktober, and, like, the Inktober lawyers were like, yes, we love you guys, and we want you participating in Inktober, but please don't call any of your stuff Inktober, or sell it as Inktober, or put... You know what I'm saying? And I was like, well, what am I going to call it if I can't call it Inktober? It's like, oh, I guess I'll call it Inktober. So, it's very much Inktober. I just call it Inktober. So, yeah. So, we're going to go visit Bree. Bree is a wonderfully chaotic artist. I love the energy that they have on the streams. It's great. So, I'm going to set that up. If you can hang out for just a minute to say hello, drop a follow, say hi, I am sure Bree would appreciate it. But if not, I also understand. So I'll get this ready to go. Thank you guys again for everything. I will see you guys on Friday for the doodle stream. Have your ideas ready, because we are drawing gummies. Everybody, take care. See you later.